Part 19. Start, Invincible, met the Empress's apprentice. Author, Ben Pao de la Chang. Chapter 181. Sir, Susu has finally found you. It's so hard for me to find you. After finishing speaking, King Kaiu Susu, regardless of her shyness, rushed forward and jumped into Li Bai's arms, and then kept rubbing her cheek against Li Bai's chest. The strength was so great that even Li Bai was slightly stunned. With such strength, this girl could probably kill a quasi-emperor directly. Ahem, what's wrong? Li Bai felt a sense of softness, touched Susu's little head, and said with a smile. Although he doesn't want to admit it, he is really interested in this vixen. He understands the truth. Later, Susu told Li Bai exactly what happened. Haha, I didn't expect that little fox is quite smart. Li Bai shook his head and said with a smile, he suddenly missed the feel of King Kaiu Yan's tail. Sir, can you save us, the King Kaiu clan and grandma and the others? Please, please. Susu stared at her huge teary eyes and begged, I feel pity for you when I see that look. Even a man can't resist it. Don't worry about this. They are still alive. Those creatures in the outer lands are reluctant to kill a few immortal emperors. Who made them lose 20 emperors before? Li Bai said lightly. Sir, why? Susu, do you know why you were exiled? When Susu heard this, she shook her head. Even though she was a quasi-emperor, her character was too well protected and too simple. Because the outer territory is preparing to attack the immortal territory. Their mythical emperor approached your grandma and wanted you to join them in attacking the immortal territory, but you were rejected. Then, there is what happens next. Li Bai said slowly after understanding everything. Ah, these bastards are not human beings. If they want to attack, they can go alone. Why do they want to drag us along? Susu puffed up her little mouth and said angrily, but after knowing that her grandmother and the others were still alive, an extremely bright smile appeared on her face, and she couldn't help but feel extremely happy in her heart that she was back to the innocent King Kaiu Susu. After all, your King Kaiu clan has 3 immortal emperors, and they will not let go of such fighting power. So, young master, you are from the immortal realm, right, and you gave Yinju that fragment of the eternal barrier. Susu said with a flash of light in her eyes. Oh, I didn't expect that you little fox is quite smart, not as stupid as you look. Humph, of course, I, King Kaiu Susu, vixen, am very smart. King Kaiu Susu said arrogantly, with a look of pride on his face, as if it was a great honor to be praised by Li Bai. Li Bai, on the other hand, said to his clone in his heart. Go and rescue all the creatures of the King Kaiu clan and bring them back to the fairyland. Also, create some trouble for them, otherwise, the plan will be delayed. Hey, don't worry, I will definitely get that thing back. Go on, after planning for so long, it's time to close the net. It's time to solve the troubles in the immortal realm, and then go to Yuanxu. Alas, I don't know when this road will end. Li Bai said slowly, after eternity and countless era changes, this routine has never seen the light of day, and he is almost out of patience. My dear, don't worry, we will definitely find the so-called answer. I hope so. By the way, are the other guys awake? Currently, only me and the guy from the eternal upper realm have woken up. As for the other 7, they haven't. By the way, I have a piece of news that you must be very interested in. What news? The evil thoughts are already known. It's time for him to solve it. I don't know if that evil thought will be scared to death after seeing such a scene. After doing all this, Li Bai said to Susu. Susu, after I finish handling this, come back to the immortal realm with me. By the way, I will take your Kinkai clan with me and introduce you to some playmates. Susu, of course I am willing, but don't worry, I've sent people to rescue your grandparents and the others. Who is it, master? I. Humph, young master, you will lie to me, aren't you still here? Kinkai Susu muttered, and sure enough, Grandma was right, the more good-looking a boy is, the more likely he is to lie. I heard that this kind of boy will eat his own bones until all the bones are left. It's scary to think about it. At this moment, in the auction house outside, the expression on Yin Feng's face at this moment was as cold as it was cold. He didn't expect that this Yinju actually felt like he was disobeying his orders. It was like the king of hell was peeing on his head, thinking that his life was too long. Yinju, do you want to die? How dare you not listen to what I say, young master? Don't forget, you are now the great emperor because of our Yin clan. To put it bluntly, you are just a dog of our Yin clan. And when Yinju heard this, he had a joking look on his face. Your entire Yin tribe or the cemetery in the outer world is almost gone, and you are still barking like a dog. Then, he said with a sneer. It's over, you loser. Hearing Yinju's words, everyone present was horrified. What the hell are you eating? You are so brave, give us some. Awesome, I admire you. Yinju is the first person who said this openly. Isn't he afraid of death? Although he is a great emperor, he is still too weak. Ha ha ha, it feels good, I don't know why, I just feel good. You. At this moment, Yin Feng was confused. He never thought that someone would dare to say this to his face. What do you mean by you? If you didn't have a mythical emperor father, you would have died countless times. You are a waste and trash. Do you think we are afraid of you? We are afraid of your father. You are pretending to be your mother, a big spender. Look at you, you look ugly, short, and weak, do you deserve to live? Miss Yin Mei suffered with you. I guess you didn't even go in, because you can't do it, haha. Yinju kept cursing Yin Feng at this moment, as if he wanted to vent all the grievances over the years. It's over, crazy, Yinju is crazy. Well, although we all know that Yin Feng is short, weak, and impotent, we can't say that. What a pity, such a man. After hearing this, Yin Feng's eyes were red with anger, and the words short and weak deeply hurt his heart. Kill him for me, grind his bones to ashes, and don't let go of his soul. Yes, young master. Yes, young master. Boom. Then, the two emperors slowly appeared, without a word of nonsense, and directly used killing moves on Yinju. The two terrifying imperial techniques seemed to bury the whole scene. Sir, save my dog life. At this moment, Yinju shouted at the box. When the voice fell, the two emperors were instantly suspended in mid-air. Puff! Puff! Suddenly, the two emperors turned into a pool of flesh and blood. The origin and soul of the emperors were annihilated into nothingness. Start, Invincible, met the Empress's apprentice. Author, Ben Pao de la Chang. Chapter 182. Ha ha ha, thank you sir for saving my dog's life. Yin Feng, little trash, come on, come and hit me. Yinju danced and said wildly. At this moment, the whole place was silent and silent. The two great emperors were just like this, silently and quietly annihilated. Dead, the two great emperors are dead. How is this possible? Those are two great emperors, two immortal emperors. Could it be that, there is a myth emperor auctioning here? Countless creatures feel as if they have met a ghost. Yin Feng also had a shocked expression on his face, trying his best to control the fear in his heart. Impossible, impossible, those are two great emperors, the immortal emperor. Yinju, you are dead, my father will never let you go. Yanfeng roared at Yanju. Yanju, kill that ant, he is too noisy. Li Bai's voice slowly spread throughout the space. Hey, okay, sir. Yanju showed an extremely cruel smile, and then grabbed it with his big hand, and Yanfeng appeared directly in Yanju's big hand. At this moment, Yanfeng was still struggling and roaring, but the more it continued, the harder Yanju's big hands became. Crunch, crunch. The sound of bones squeezing and shattering came from Yanfeng's body, shocking the creatures present. Ah! Let go, this young master. Haha, without these two great emperors, you are no different from a waste. Maybe your father could not have imagined that in the cemetery in the outer land, someone could actually kill you, without even a life-saving thing. Yanju said with a smile. Yanju, you are dead, my father is the Xinhui emperor, you are dead. You're such a tough talker, you still dare to threaten me. As he spoke, his big hands exerted force again. The screams of killing pigs were heard. At this moment, he finally knew that Yanju would really kill him, at least, that was the case at this moment. I don't want to die. I was wrong. Master Yanju, let me go. Let me go. I will agree to any conditions you have. Please, I don't want to die. Yanfeng kept pleading and said, sure enough, in the face of life and death, all dignity is in vain, and living is the most important thing. Any request is okay. That's right, you can do anything. My father is the emperor of Xinhui. He can satisfy you with anything. At this moment, Yanfeng was still imagining that Yanju could let him go, and then he would ask his father to kill him. However, he miscalculated. Yanju was a great emperor, and he still knew this if he let the tiger return to the mountain and leave trouble. Hey, what a pity, I'm not interested, I'm only interested in your death. Yanju's whole body is filled with endless killing. Die to me. No, 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 Yanju, how dare you? Phew. Before he finished speaking, Yanfeng was brutally pinched to death by Yanju. The death was extremely miserable. Even his soul, Yanju, was not spared. He was thrown directly into his inner universe and burned continuously with flames. Yanju, destroy the people in the outside world and get the fragments back. Li Bai's voice came again, because he had already felt the breath of the breeze. Yes, sir. After Yanju finished speaking, he directly attacked several quasi-emperors from the outer lands. Yanju, what are you going to do? Several quasi-emperors were dumbfounded. Kill you. By the way, let me tell you one more thing, some things must be taken with your life. Boom. Boom. These quasi-emperors are completely powerless in Yanju's hands. They also wanted to call for help, but found that this space had been sealed. A few minutes later, everyone in the outland perished. Yanju, let's go and take those iron cages with you. Yes, sir. After saying that, Yanju took several iron cages and followed Li Bai and left. However, just when the remaining survivors thought that was the end, a palm print that covered the sky and the sun came down with a crash. Dust scattered all over the sky, and the entire stars were directly annihilated into nothingness by this palm. Immediately, in Yinja's spaceship, King Kaiususu hugged her two sisters and cried. "Ah, sister, are you okay?" At this moment, King Kaiunan and King Kaiuling were still confused. They had also seen the scene at that time, but they were just curious about why Yanju saved them, and who took action to directly kill the two immortal emperors. Susu, this. King Kaiuling and King Kaiunan stared at King Kaiususu in confusion. Hey, it's the young master who saved us. Master. Susu, that young master. Immediately, Susu told the two girls exactly what happened. It took a long time for the two girls to calm down and collect their thoughts. Wow, great, the grandparents are still alive. I didn't expect that the young master is that gentleman, this is really unbelievable. Is this the fate that Grandma said? King Xuanhuan said blankly. Ah, Sister Nan, you also know about this. Of course, Grandma told us too. Susu, where is that young master? I don't know where the young master is. Just then Yanju slowly walked over and said. Everyone, the master is busy now. These pills were given to you by the master to heal your wounds. Wow, master, you are so kind. Master is so considerate, I love you so much, I want to marry him and give birth to a bunch of little foxes. I want him too. Hee, Susu is the first one, master even touched my tail. Susu said angrily with her hands on her waist. Really, Susu, hee, tell me how it feels. How can I be so embarrassed? Ling come on. Come on. Then, the two girls touched Susu all over. Seeing this scene, Yanju unconsciously twitched his lips, quietly left the room, and sighed secretly. Tisk tisk, what a group of vixens, I don't know if you can stand it. Ha ha ha, itchy, Ling sister, itchy. Ah, Sister Nan, stop touching me. Say it or not. I'll tell you, I just feel great, as if I've ascended to heaven. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Start, Invincible, met the Empress's apprentice. Author, Ben Pao de la Chang. Chapter 183. After some fun, Susu said with a blushing face. Well, I really want to experience it. Me too. Anyway, we were all saved by young master. Besides, young master is still destined to us. From now on, we are all young master's people, and our appearance is also young master's. Ah, Sister Nan, Sister Ling you are so jealous, don't be jealous. Hey, Susu, let me touch you again, you little girl seems to have gotten bigger. I also want. Don't. It's a pity that no one appreciates this picture of beauties having fun. In another part of the spaceship, in the room. Li Bai looked at the handsome man in front of him, sighed, and then waved his hand, and a miniature version of the Gate of Reincarnation appeared in front of him. The soul is back. Li Bai said lightly. Buzz. A ray of reincarnation flashed, and King Feng's originally annihilated soul miraculously returned to its original form. This scene, if placed in the fairyland, would simply subvert everyone's understanding, because the soul has been completely wiped out, and even the mythical emperor is helpless if he wants to resurrect this person. Where am I? Qing Feng opened his eyes and said doubtfully. Xiao Qingzi, don't you recognize me? Li Bai said lightly. You are, my lord, you are my lord. Sir, Qing Feng misses you so much, but, you are dead too, how could you die? This is impossible, who in the world can kill you, that bitch do it? Qing Feng suddenly burst into tears and said. Get out of here, you're the one who died. I got you back. Li Bai had a dark look on his face when he heard this. At this moment, he felt a little regretful. Shouldn't he have come to save this guy Qing Feng? Ah, I'm not dead. A quarter of an hour later. Qing Feng has recalled everything at this moment. Sir, I knew how you could have lost that battle. Qing Feng said extremely excitedly. At this moment, he even doubted whether he was dreaming, but even if it was a dream, he was willing. I ask you, as a quasi-emperor at that time, how could you dare to go to the Ye family alone to look for face? Are you crazy? Li Bai said with confusion on his face. Hey, sir, I was actually very close to the emperor at that time. At that time, I thought, No matter what you gave me to save my life, I wouldn't die. Who would have thought that that bitch from the Ye family would be exiled to me? Breaking through the outer cemetery, you know the consequences, right? Of course I know this, but there is really nothing I can do about it. If I didn't break through, I would have been killed by some great emperors at that time. But, I know, sir, you have a way, right? Qing Feng said with a smile. Get lost and keep talking. Well, later on, I kept wandering in the cemetery of the outside world, until I met a mythical emperor from the outside world. After one move, I had no impression. Qing Feng lowered his head and said. Why didn't you ask Nanyi or Xuanhuan for help? Sir, actually, I think so too, but Sister Nanyi and Senior Xuanhuan, weren't they injured in the battle at the burial ground? I don't feel good about it either. What's more, this is my own business, Qing Feng. Qing Feng lowered his head and said sheepishly. You are lucky enough to be exiled. Otherwise, without me giving you something to save your life, you would have been destroyed. Hey, isn't this an adult? By the way, let me tell you something, the Ye family has been destroyed by me. Li Bai said lightly. Upon hearing this, Qin Feng's eyes flashed with shock. Holy shit, sir, it's true. Do you think I need to lie to you? That's right, sir, could it be that you started another war between immortals, demons, gods, and demons, and how many great emperors died? Then Qing Feng asked doubtfully. We did launch a campaign, but it was aimed at the Dark Valley. Oh, Dark Valley, wait, what the hell, Dark Valley? Is that the forbidden place within the forbidden place, the ghost place where countless immortal emperors have been buried? King Feng's eyes widened and he asked naively. After receiving a positive answer, Qing Feng already knew that the master had won this war. After a long time, Qing Feng roared loudly, his words full of excitement. Damn it, sir, you are so humming awesome. Dark Valley was destroyed by you like this. Immediately, Qing Feng seemed to remember something and said regretfully. Alas, I just don't know what's going on with the Qing Feng Holy Land now, whether it has been cut off. Don't worry, they are living a good life in the lower realm and have become the overlord. After you return to the fairy land, you can just bring them back. As for the place, it is the ancestral land of the Ye family. I will also return the dragon veins of the Ye family. Keep it and don't take it out. Li Bai said calmly. Ah, sir, you have seen them. How is this possible? Besides, with your identity. Well, it must be considered fate. After I woke up, I thought about traveling around the world, pretending to be cool, and flirting with girls. Then I went to the lower world and met them. Ha ha ha, that's great. After a while, Li Bai shouted to Yinju. Yinju, come here. The next moment, Yinju appeared in front of Li Bai, licking his face and said. Hey, sir, what's the matter with me, Gauden? Gauden? Why did you give yourself such a name? Li Bai said puzzledly. Ah, my little brother said that if I follow you, I must take a down-to-earth name. I think this name is good. Do you want to come back to the fairy land with me? Li Bai said slowly. Although Yinju is not strong, he works hard and is very loyal. He naturally knows why Yinju works so hard. As for strength, it is very simple for Li Bai. Even if it is a mortal, he can make him a quasi-emperor in an instant and a great emperor in a few days. When Yinju heard this, tears filled his eyes. What did Gauden do all this for? Isn't it just this sentence? Woo woo, yes, yes, I'm so willing. We will follow you till death, sir. Yinju said devoutly. At this moment, his belief is Li Bai. No need to follow me. I'm used to being alone. I'll make my own arrangements when the time comes. Yes, sir. By the way, let's go to the ancestral land of the Yin clan. Sir, could it be? Hearing this, Yin Ju's two channels trembled continuously. No need to stay here for too long. Just destroy the Yin clan and those creatures in the outer domain. The battle in the fairy land is about to start. I don't want to spend too much energy here. Yes, sir. Start, Invincible, met the Empress's apprentice. Author, Ben Pao de la Chang. Chapter 184. At this moment, in the ancestral land of the Yin clan, the three Yin lords gathered together rarely. Generally speaking, the three Yin lords have their own territories, and they will not contact each other at ordinary times. Unless it is absolutely necessary, they will not gather together. There are only a few reasons for gathering together, either a war or something that can change the situation. Among the three Yin lords, only the first Yin lord has reached the mythical realm and is the real controller of the Yin clan, so Yin Feng is so arrogant and domineering. The second and third are both half-step myths. Our Yin clan has lost 4 emperors inexplicably recently, including 2 immortal emperors. Have you investigated it? The first Yin lord's face was blurred, and his voice was extremely hoarse and cold. Brother, we are investigating this matter, but the strange thing is that this person did not leave any traces, which is really incredible. The second Yin lord frowned and said slowly. Brother, do you think it is possible, it is the mythical emperor in the outside world? The third Yin lord thought of a possible possibility and said with a little uneasy in his heart. After hearing this, the first Yin lord thought about it and said slowly. This possibility is not great, although only the myth emperor can do it without leaving any traces and not be noticed by us. But according to our spies, the myth emperor has been staying in their ancestral temple in the outer domain and has never left. After all, he suffered irreversible injuries a long time ago and generally does not move easily. Besides, we have known each other for countless epochs. If he really makes a move, I can't fail to notice it. Could it be that it is the myth emperor of the other heavens? Impossible, this kind of broken place, unless there are disciples in the clan who are exiled here, otherwise, it is impossible to come here, because for the myth emperor, this place has no value. The second Yin lord immediately denied this conjecture. After all, the outer domain cemetery is too barren compared to the outer domain or the fairy land. That's strange. Could it be that a mythical emperor can appear out of thin air? Forget it, don't think about it for now. As long as the three of us are still here, nothing can happen here. By the way, did the people from the outside world come to you a few days ago? The first Yin lord asked slowly. Brother, they did. They wanted to exchange some things with us, but I don't have the things they need here. I have it here too. Well, the fragments of the eternal barrier and other things from the fairy land. It's strange. Why do they need these things from the outside world? At this moment, a flash of inspiration flashed through the mind of the first Yin lord. Could it be, they are going to attack the fairy land? Sigma, LLL. Brother, stop joking. Everyone knows that the outside world has lost 20 emperors before. The combat power has been reduced to this extent. If they really dare to attack the fairy land, they will definitely lose. Don't forget who is behind the outside world. The first Yin lord reminded faintly. Brother, you mean the ancient clan is behind everything? That's right, it must be the ancient clan. Some time ago, the immortal realm destroyed the Dark Valley, and there was a key in it, which is very important to the ancient clan, and you should also know the hatred between that person and the ancient clan. That person. It's Li Bai. The first Yin lord took a deep breath and said slowly, and for the first time, a look of fear appeared on his face. After hearing this name, the other 2 Yin lords were silent, they didn't dare to think about it. Maybe, this is the opportunity. Even if so, it doesn't matter to us, even if the 2 domains are destroyed, it can't interfere with us. The second Yin Lord said nonchalantly. Do you still want to stay in this broken place? If we can get out, we don't want to. Yeah, who wants to stay in this shitty place? Perhaps, this time, it's the time for our Yin clan to see the light of day again. The first Yin Lord's eyes flashed with dazzling divine light. And the other two Yin Lords also guessed something. The ancient clan. Yes, it's the ancient clan. We need to plan this carefully, otherwise, we will be wiped out. You know what kind of mentality the ancient clan has. At this moment, a great emperor rushed in and said with a horrified look. Master Yin, it's not good. What's the matter, tell me quickly. The first Master Yin said impatiently. Master Yinfen, Yinfen? What happened to him? The first Master Yin felt something was wrong. Master Yinfen has fallen. Boom. The extremely terrifying aura swept across the entire outer domain cemetery. Impossible, how could it be possible? He has two immortal emperors by his side. Who in the outer domain can kill him? At this moment, the first Master Yin had an extremely ferocious expression and was furious. He only had one son. It's absolutely true, Master Yin, the Master's life card has been broken. Not only that, the auction house has turned into nothingness. The great emperor said tremblingly. Ah, my son. Waste, you bunch of waste, you can't even protect my son, what use are you? The first Yin Lord waved his hand, and the emperor fell before he could react. Investigate, use all the power of the Yin clan, investigate for me. Don't worry, big brother, we will investigate now. Then, countless people from the Yin clan went to various places to investigate. Including Yinju. Yinju, the Yin Lord has ordered to thoroughly investigate the murderer who killed the young master Yin Feng. If we can't find him, we will all die. Okay, sir, don't worry, I will investigate now. After that, Yinju showed a weird look on his face. A bunch of idiots would never think that it was the waste I killed. It turns out that being the sixth feels so good. Then, Yinju asked Li Bai what he should do. Originally, I wanted to directly attack the ancestral land of the Yin clan, but now I save all the effort. After that, Li Bai gave Yinju a look. As Li Bai's most loyal licker now, Yinju understood instantly. Hey, sir, let's go now. The situation in the outer domain is the same. Damn it, who dares to snatch our fragments and interfere with our plan? Don't let me find you. An old mythical emperor said viciously, you know, this is the most important part of their attack on the fairyland, and it must not be lost. But now, the fragments that are about to be obtained have been snatched away by someone. How can he swallow this breath? Start, Invincible, met the Empress's apprentice. Author, Ben Pao de la Chang. Chapter 185. At this moment, all the creatures in the outer domain were terrified. They all felt this mythical aura full of the power of destruction. Then they couldn't help but feel extremely curious. As the controller of most of the outer domain cemetery, who could make him so angry? What's going on? Why is the first Yin Lord going crazy? Is he sick? Shocking news, don't you know yet? Yin Feng, he's dead. Damn, Yin Feng? That useless son of the first Yin Lord, short and weak. That's right. Ha, it's so satisfying. I've disliked him for a long time. He relies on his father, the Myth Emperor, to burn, kill and rob everywhere. The most important thing is that there are too many monks and too little meat here. Female creatures who are a little bit pretty will be killed by him. I don't know which warrior did it. I'm going to erect a monument for him to praise his great achievements. Afterwards, this news spread to the ears of every living being at an incomprehensible speed. Countless people applauded, especially those who had a grudge against Yin Feng. They felt like they had a great revenge. However, they didn't know that in a short time, the entire outer cemetery would turn into a chaotic void again. And they will also be turned into nothingness and buried here together. Outer Domain. At this moment, in a cage world created by the myth Emperor, countless Kinkaiu clan creatures are trapped here. They can't break free, can't ask for help, and suffer day after day. Hey, I don't know how Susu and the others are doing. Although the three of them are at the quasi-emperor level, their hearts are too weak and it is difficult for them to survive in the outer domain cemetery. An immortal emperor, with a sad face, was full of sorrow. She was King Xuanhuan, one of the three immortal emperors, and the other two were King Feng and King Jun. I didn't expect that the outer domain would be so despicable and use this method to force the palace. King Feng, with a gloomy face, said angrily. They have always been like this, despicable and shameless, and they can't do anything. At this moment, a sad-faced elder on the side plucked up the courage to say, Ancestor, if it doesn't work, we should agree to their request, so that Susu and the others can return safely. Absolutely not. Have you forgotten the ancestral precepts of King Yan's ancestor? Never attack a single blade of grass or tree in the fairyland, even if our King clan is completely destroyed. The King army immediately rejected it. But that happened so long ago, if King Kai's ancestor. Okay, don't mention this matter again, we will find a way to rescue Susu and the others. Ah, okay. The elder saw that he couldn't persuade the three ancestors, so he could only return in defeat. He also knew that the foreign land just wanted their ancestor to join the war, and even if he agreed, it would be useless. If that adult can appear again, it would be great. King Xuanhuan said with a bitter smile. Haha, how is it possible? That lord has traveled all over the world, and the probability of running into him is almost zero. The last time he appeared was during the Emperor's Fall battle that shocked all the worlds. Besides, a small King clan, maybe the Lord has long forgotten him. I only blame myself for not being strong enough and failing the ancestors' expectations. King Feng clenched his fists and gritted his teeth. If I could break through to the myth, how could I become a fish on a sticky board, at the mercy of others? I, King Xuanhuan, have failed the ancestors' expectations, and even more so the King clan. Afterwards, King Xuanhuan took out a piece of paper stained yellow by time, with the vicissitudes of life flowing on it. On this piece of paper, there was a person drawn. Although his face was slightly blurred, people familiar with him such as Nanyi could recognize it at a glance. This person was Li Bai. Then, King Xuanhuan used her spiritual power to float the paper in the air. The three of them knelt down slowly, revealing 8 tails of each person. They put their hands together and said devoutly, Sir, can you save our King again? We are willing to exchange our lives. Sir, we kneel down to thank you. However, they also knew that the probability of this was almost zero. Sometimes they even doubted whether all this was a lie deliberately made up by their King ancestors, but the portrait made this suspicion self-defeating. At this moment, a dazzling fairy light flashed across, and in a trance, they seemed to see a figure that shook the heavens. The power of just a back figure was enough to make them tremble. The next moment, all the people of the King clan looked forward in disbelief, because there was really a figure standing there. Who are you? King Xuanhuan widened her eyes and asked cautiously. Oh, aren't you looking for me? Li Bai's clone smiled and said something that was astonishing. Boom. The next moment, every King creature was in a state of shock, especially the three ancestors, who seemed to be in a dream, with unbelievable looks on their faces. Then, the three of them kept comparing themselves with the people in the portraits. 1 second, 2 seconds, the breathing of the three ancestors became more and more rapid and heavy. My lord, you are really my lord, I am not dreaming. King Xuanhuan shed tears and knelt on the ground and said excitedly. My lord, we finally see you. It's different. I am just a clone. The original owner asked me to take you away. Li Bai's clone shook his head and said slowly. My lord. The three ancestors said in horror, because of this clone, they could not see through the realm at all, the only thing they were sure of was that it was absolutely above the myth. Yes, I am with Susu and the others now. What, is this true or false? Sir, are you telling the truth? Then, Li Bai's clone roughly described what happened. The three ancestors burst into tears of joy. What they couldn't let go of the most was Susu and the other two, especially Susu. She had a 100% chance of evolving into a nine-tailed celestial fox. Her future achievements would not be comparable to King Xuanhuan, but would be almost the same. Ha ha ha, I didn't expect that you would have such a good relationship with Susu and the others. Hee hee, if it weren't for me, I would have been in the outer domain for so many epochs and still didn't know the relationship between your King Kaiu clan and me. The clone said slowly. But these words made the other three ancestors sluggish. You said, you live in the outer domain. Yes, I was created by this deity in the outer domain. But why have we never seen you? King Xuanhuan said doubtfully. As an immortal emperor who is infinitely close to mythology, he basically knows all the secrets of the outer domain, and he has seen many myth emperors. Then do you recognize this image of me? After saying that, the clone transformed into the one wearing black clothes before. Hiss, it's you, you are that adult. King Xuanhuan said in great shock. They had seen this image of the clone before, because at that time, there was a weird one who asked them whether they wanted to attack the fairyland, but they rejected it. Thanks to you for always abiding by the group training and not going to the fairyland together, otherwise. The clone did not say the rest of the words. And they also felt very fortunate. It seems that the group training of the King Kaiu ancestors saved their entire clan. It turns out that the death of the 20 great emperors was all planned by the adults. No wonder, I was curious at the time, how could they enter the fairyland without attacking the eternal barrier? Now everything is clear. Okay, no more nonsense, are you willing to go to the fairyland? Yes, our King Kaiu clan was named by the adults, of course we are willing. King Xuanhuan said excitedly. They have long wanted to leave the outer domain, if it weren't for the lack of the fairyland seeds, they would have rebelled long ago. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Start, Invincible, met the Empress's apprentice. Author, Ben Pao de la Chang. Chapter 186. Immediately, countless creatures in King Kaiu said in unison. We are also willing to follow you to the death, and we will have no regrets in this life. Very good, there will be someone to pick you up over there in the immortal realm. By the way, give these seeds to your tribe to eat, otherwise you will be crushed by the heavenly way of the immortal realm the moment you enter the immortal realm. The clones threw some seeds to them and asked them to swallow them. They had no doubts about this. After all, if they really wanted to kill them, just one move would do the trick, so why bother? Immediately, the seeds of the immortal realm took root and sprouted in their hearts. Not only that, their aura of the outer realm was gradually swallowed up and disappeared. This is the seed of the immortal realm. How is this possible? Isn't this thing irresistible? King Xuanhuan felt the changes in her body and almost died of fright. Holy shit, it's really true. Sir, it's too scary. All the creatures of the King Kaiu clan were extremely surprised, because from this moment on, they were no longer the creatures of the outside world, but the native creatures of the fairyland. Okay, that's it. I'll send you away first. The clone said slowly after feeling every immortal seed sprout. Ah, won't you, go back with us. I still have something to do. As you all know, the two regions are about to go to war. I need to make some preparations. Sir, please rest assured that our 3 old lives will definitely fight for the immortal realm. Me too. Yes, it seems that everything I did that day was not in vain. You are worthy of our rescue. After the clone finished speaking, he waved his big hand, and the entire caged world suddenly shattered. Everyone felt like the world was spinning for a while, and then they lost consciousness. After doing all this, the clone slowly left here. On the other side, in a small world, an old man was closing his eyes to recuperate. However, the next moment, he suddenly opened his eyes, and in an instant, the breath that made the world tremble continued to burst out. How is it possible that the cage of my world has been broken? Didn't the 9-tailed fox, the ancestor of the Kinkayu clan, die? Impossible, I witnessed it with my own eyes, who rescued the Kinkayu clan. Then, the mythical emperor waved his hand, and a thin thread of intertwined fate and cause and effect appeared in the air. After thousands of threads were intertwined, a picture slowly appeared. Immediately, the mythical emperor stared at the picture intently, but Li Bai's figure was extremely blurry. No matter how this mythical emperor used various tricks, it was always shrouded in a layer of fog. After a long time. How is this possible? I can't figure out his identity. Mythology, no. No, this is, above mythology. The old man said with a trembling body, he didn't expect that the Kinkayu clan was actually related to such existence. Forget it, it doesn't matter whether there is the Kinkayu clan or not, it still can't stop us from destroying the immortal realm. Above the myth, we are not without it. At this moment, in the Kangtian immortal realm, in the Tianji pavilion. Except for Wu Feng, the other 9 of the 10 geniuses have arrived on time. They will never forget what Emperor Tianji said at that time. Help them get a glimpse of the future for free. As for Wu Feng, everyone has successfully awakened from reincarnation. When the Emperor of Time returns, how can he need to peek into the future? Snowclad girl. Snowclad girl. After Jun Wuodao and others saw Shui Yi, they all kept their distance and said respectfully, there is no way, who made Shui Yi be that master's disciple? They didn't dare to show any slightness. Even the leader of their imperial clan would probably have to respectfully shout, Miss Sui, when he saw Sui. You don't have to be so polite, just be like before. I still like you, how unruly you are. Shui Yi was not used to this kind of scene and said shyly. The rest of the geniuses were smiling on the outside, but in their hearts it was a shame that they didn't know their identity. Since they knew Shui Yi's identity, who dared to look at her calmly? While the geniuses were discussing, Emperor Tianji slowly appeared in front of everyone. Jun Wuodao, the younger generation, has met Emperor Tianji. Junior. And Emperor Tianji just waved his hand and said, my dear friends, you don't have to be like this. You are all the hope of the immortal realm. A glimpse into the future is nothing to me. What's more, I am already old, and the future still depends on you. Okay, without further ado, each of you will give me a drop of blood from your fingertips. After saying that, Jun Wuodao and others followed suit one after another. Just when Shui Yi was about to force out a drop of blood, he was immediately blocked by Emperor Tianji. Oh, my sister-in-law, you don't have to. Shui Yi asked doubtfully after hearing this. Uncle Tianji, why? Emperor Tianji, Jun Wuodao, and others stared at Sui with suspicious expressions. Don't you really know why? You are the apprentice of that master. What future do you need to peep into? The future is estimated. I have to listen to you and change it however you want. Nanyi is a good example. What's more, as Li Bai's disciple, he will definitely put a layer of fog on Sui's future in order to prevent others from snooping. However, Emperor Tianji currently does not have this ability, and even if he did, he would not dare. Ahem, my aunt, you are my disciple. You are destined to reach the pinnacle of all realms in the future. You don't need my prying eyes at all. What's more, if I really spy on you, I might die on the spot due to the backlash, so please spare me. Emperor Tianji explained patiently. Ah, if that's the case, then fine. Shui said disappointedly. Okay, Sui, don't be disappointed. No one can interfere with your future, and no one can predict it. Xuanhuan Minjiao said comfortingly. Okay, I get it. Immediately, Jun Wuodao and others handed the blood to Emperor Tianji. I don't know which kid wants to come first. In that case, let me go first. Jun Wuodao said slowly. Good. After Emperor Tianji finished speaking, he took out a bronze mirror and dropped Jun Wuodao's blood on it. The next moment, the mirror reflected bursts of light. An image slowly appeared in front of everyone's eyes. I saw Jun Wuodao dressed in black, standing in the endless starry sky, the aura of mythology constantly pouring out of him, and under his feet was the corpse of the immortal emperor. At this moment, Jun Wuodao turned around and looked at everyone. His eyes seemed to penetrate past and present, crossing the river of time, looking from the future to the present. Then, the picture instantly shattered. After all, the future Jun Wuodao is a mythical emperor. How can he be allowed to pry at will? Start, Invincible, met the Empress's apprentice. Author, Ben Pao de la Chang. Chapter 187. Ha 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 ha, congratulations, little friend Jun. In the future, you will be a mythical emperor. The Jun family will finally have another one after your ancestors. Emperor Tianji said with great excitement, this is a great good thing for the immortal realm. The mythical emperor. Jun Wuodao clenched his fists and said slowly. He was not satisfied with the mythical emperor. After all, their ancestors of the Jun family had already achieved it, and what he wanted was to surpass their ancestors of the Jun family and hit the supreme or even higher level. Realm. Of course, little friend Jun, I have to remind you that after all, this is a peek into the future. These are two different timelines and two different universes. The mythical emperor in the future does not represent you now, nor does it represent you now. That is to say, all this may not come true, and many changes may occur. Remember, don't take it seriously. Emperor Tianji reminded him. Don't worry, senior, I, Jun Wuodao, am myself and will not be affected by the future. Jun Wuodao said extremely solemnly. Good. Emperor Tianji saw Jun Wuodao's character and was not shaken at all. He said with admiration that if the ordinary genius knew that he would be a mythical emperor in the future, he would probably be destroyed immediately. Old man, you are awesome. I just don't know how high the future mythical emperor will be on the eternal emperor list. Zhang Changqin said enviously. Haha, brother Zhang, you are pregnant with the 6 paths of reincarnation, you will definitely be no worse than Jun Mao. The two were complimenting each other's business, and everyone was stunned for a moment. I'll lend you some good words. Later, Zhang Changqin was also eager to peek into the future. As a result, as Jun Wuodao said, the future Zhang Changqin will also be a mythical emperor. To be precise, Zhang Changqin inherited the will of the land of reincarnation and became the second lord of reincarnation after the empress of the other shore, but her aura was much weaker than that of the empress of the other shore. I never thought that in this era, it would be possible for our Kangtian immortal realm to have two mythical emperors appear at the same time. I am so lucky to the heavens and I have no regrets. Emperor Tianji stroked his beard and said wildly, looking like an old naughty boy. Holy crap, Jun Wuodao and Zhang Changqin, two mythical emperors, our Kangtian immortal realm is about to take off. As expected, in the prosperous age predicted in the past, there may not be one immortal emperor, let alone the mythical emperor. But now, there may be 2 mythical emperors. No, there is also my aunt. The mythical emperor is certain. Tisk tisk, it's really scary. One myth has been confirmed, and 2 mythical emperors are very likely. There is a high probability that Emperor Minjiao's daughter will be there too. Don't forget her relationship with my sister-in-law. Quick, 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 next, it's my turn, Emperor Lin. Seeing this scene, the remaining geniuses could no longer control their impatience and stepped forward to peek at a corner of their future. A quarter of an hour later. Of these 6 geniuses, only Emperor Lin is infinitely close to the myth. Although the other 5 will not reach the realm of myth in the future, they are all at the peak of immortality, or half step to the realm of myth. Ha ha ha, have you seen the bright moon? Although I, Emperor Lin, do not have myths, I am infinitely close to myths. If my father knows this, he will probably wake up from his dreams with a smile. Emperor Lin smiled happily. Humph, then you still haven't reached Xuanhuan. Shui was on the sidelines making up for the damage. It's infinitely close, just a small chance. That's not achieved yet. It's still far behind Jun Wuodao and Zhang Changkan. Depend on. Huh? Are you going to scold me again? Ahem, and Sui, you are right. Emperor Lin gave up immediately. Strangely enough, what he was afraid of was not Shui's identity, but the unbearable beatings he received in the past. However, a trace of doubt flashed in Emperor Tianji's eyes. It's strange that no one has died. Could it be that the immortal realm in the future has reached the pinnacle of all realms? If this is really the case, then in the prophesied war of all realms, wouldn't our immortal realm be the winner? At this moment, Xuanhuan Minjiao was the only one left among the 9 geniuses. Then everyone looked at Xuanhuan Minjiao. They wanted to know what level Xuanhuan Minjiao, who had received the inheritance of the emperor, would reach in the future. Sister Minjiao, come on. Shui said excitedly from the side. Immediately, Xuanhuan Minjiao dropped blood on the bronze mirror. The next moment, a picture is slowly generated. Yes, it is a picture, not a complete image. In the picture, Xuanhuan Minjiao's hair is messy and the corners of his mouth are stained with blood, standing in a ruins. There is only nothingness and deathly silence around him, as if he has just experienced a war. It was like she was the only one who survived. However, they didn't know that this ruined place would be one of the top 10 immortal realms in the future. And this picture only lasted for a few seconds before dissipating. Hey, it's strange, why is it just a picture? I don't know, and we don't know what state it is in. Senior Tianji, isn't this mirror broken? I am certain that there is not. I can only say that it is difficult to predict Minjiao's future. This drop of blood is not enough. Emperor Tianji shook his head and said slowly. Seeing this result, Xuanhuan Minjiao was not too shocked. After all, he had seen this scene before when he received the inheritance from the great emperor. Okay, my friends, I think you have a certain idea of your future. But I have to warn you again that your future is just a different timeline, remember not to take it to heart. I don't want to affect your Tao heart by peeking into the future. Emperor Tianji said to the Tianjiao very solemnly, his tone full of warnings. After all, he had really experienced this. A Tianjiao was an immortal emperor in the future, but he started to play badly and never recovered, and finally became an ordinary person. Yes, Senior Tianji. Yes, Senior Tianji. Then, the Tianjiao slowly left the Tianji pavilion. Minjiao, you don't seem to be very surprised about your future. Jun Wuodao stared at Xuanhuan Minjiao and said slowly. Could it be, Minjiao, you already knew it? Zhang Changkan asked doubtfully. No way, Minjiao, are we still good friends? Emperor Lin said with wide eyes. Hearing the conversation between the few people, the other Tianjiao who were about to leave stopped and looked at Xuanhuan Minjiao slowly. They were also very curious. After hesitating for a long time. To be honest, I have, indeed seen this scene. Xuanhuan Minjiao said affirmatively. Oh, no wonder, Sister Minjiao, you are not moved at all. Sui widened her eyes and suddenly realized. Minjiao, I wonder where you saw it. Jun Wudao and others asked curiously. In the secret realm of the emperor. After a while, Xuanhuan Minjiao said slowly. Start, Invincible, met the Empress's apprentice. Author, Ben Pao de la Chang. Chapter 188. The secret realm of the great emperor, is this the place where you obtain the inheritance of the great emperor? Emperor Lin said in disbelief. That's right, it was when I obtained the inheritance of the great emperor. By the way, speaking of which, we have been curious for a long time, Minjiao, which emperor did you inherit the inheritance from? Jun Wudao said slowly. Hearing this, the eyes of the other geniuses also flashed with light. They had also been curious about this matter for a long time, but Xuanhuan Minjiao had not mentioned a word about it before and kept silent. This, maybe if I say it, you won't believe it? Xuanhuan Minjiao had a look of embarrassment on her face. It wasn't that she didn't want to say it, but it was just too far-fetched. Even if she said it, no one would believe it. Don't worry, Minjiao, even if you say you are Emperor Fantian, we will still believe you. Emperor Lin said slowly. Sister Minjiao, just tell me, I'm so curious. Shui urged from the side. Okay, in that case, I'll say it, but whether you believe it or not is none of my business. It's okay, just tell me, Princess Minjiao. Huh, she is an eternal empress, her name is, Empress of the Nine Heavens. After taking a deep breath, Xuanhuan Minjiao said slowly. Empress of the Nine Heavens. Why is this name so unfamiliar? I've searched for a long time, but I don't have any impression. It's impossible. Every empress should be honored forever and be recorded in the history of the immortal realm, such as Sui Senior Sister, Nanyi Empress, Ziwei Empress, Bianan Empress, and that one the most legendary empress who stepped into the darkness, but this great emperor is not called the Empress of the Nine Heavens, right? Jushin, I always feel like this word is so familiar. Lejun, do you also feel familiar? Well, I seem to have seen it in a history book made up by my ancestors of the Jun family. What a pity, I just can't remember. At this moment, the figure of Emperor Tianji slowly appeared behind everyone like a ghost. What, Jushin? You, Senior Tianji, you, almost scared us to death. Emperor Lin patted his little heart and said in panic. What you just said was, Jushin. Uncle Tianji, do you know Jushin? Seeing Emperor Tianji's expression, Shui asked doubtfully. Nine Heavens, what an ancient word that is. It's so old that only a few great emperors really understand it now. Emperor Tianji recalled while stroking his beard. Uncle Tianji, can you tell me something? We are curious. Emperor Tianji hesitated for a long time and said slowly. That's all. Originally, things like this are not something you can come into contact with now, but you are the hope of the immortal realm. You may have to fight against Jushin at some point in the future. Fight against Jushin? Senior Tianji, what do you mean by this? Jun Wudao said with great confusion. Do you know what this place was before the fairyland was born? Could it be? You are right. Before the immortal realm was born, this place was originally Jushin. And Jushin was born at the beginning of the Taishu era, and our immortal realm is at the end. No one knows how powerful the rumored Nine Heavens are, but at least there are nearly 500 mythical emperors in the entire Nine Heavens. Emperor Tianji said slightly horrified. Every time he recalled this incident, he felt extremely terrifying. What the hell, 500 mythical emperors, how is this possible? 500 mythical emperors, this is really unbelievable. You must know that our entire fairyland, from its birth to the present, only has 20 mythical emperors in total. Senior Tianji, you won't make fun of us again, will you? Emperor Lin asked suspiciously. You, this is what our Tianji pavilion ancestor said himself. Do you think it is necessary for him to lie? Emperor Tianji immediately blew his beard and said with eyes wide open. But senior, if this is really the case, then why is there no name of their 9 heavens mythical emperor on the list of ancient eternal emperors? Yeah, why didn't I expect that all the emperors on this list would have their place marked? Well, it's not actually a secret, because this list of emperors of all ages was created at the end of the Taipei era. In other words, the emperors before this cannot be recorded at all because they were too powerful. The myths of that era, the emperor can easily crush any of our current mythical emperors. Emperor Tianji said slowly. What happened next, Uncle Tianji? Shui then asked. Later, a person appeared at the end of the Taishu era. She sealed the entire 9 heavens and moved the entire 9 heavens to a remote place. No one knows where that place is. Then, our fairyland was born in this place. Emperor Tianji told this secret story completely. And the wonders in the hearts of all the geniuses became more intense. Who could have such great ability to move the seal of an area where more than 500 mythical emperors were employed? The realm must have reached the supreme level, or is going up. Thinking of this, they no longer dare to imagine it. After all, supreme is the highest state they know. Senior Tianji, do you know who this person is? Emperor Lin said slowly. He had a strong feeling that the 9 heavens empress that Xuanhuan Minjiao mentioned just now was strongly related to this matter. Well, even if I tell you, you may not believe it. She is an empress. Hearing this, everyone's eyes were filled with strong shock, their pupils trembled violently, and they all looked at Xuanhuan Minjiao. Could it be that all this is true? She is. Before Emperor Tianji finished speaking, Jun Wuidao said nervously. 9 heavens empress, right, Senior Tianji. This time, it was Emperor Tianji's turn to be shocked. You know, the name of the 9 heavens empress is a rare name in the fairyland today. How did you know? Hearing this, everyone looked at Xuanhuan Minjiao again, as if to say, why don't you ask her? Minjiao? Could it be? That's right, senior, the inheritance of the emperor I obtained is the 9 heavens empress. Boom. A thunderclap buzzed in the mind of Emperor Tianji, his heart almost stopped beating, his old face kept changing, and a breath surged out uncontrollably. Impossible, absolutely impossible, that's the 9 heavens empress, that's... Emperor Tianji muttered dully, like a madman, shaking his head constantly. Senior, what realm is this 9 heavens empress? Since she is at the end of Taishu, why haven't we seen her on the eternal emperor list? When Emperor Lin and others saw Emperor Tianji in such a state, they asked frantically. On the contrary, only Xuanhuan Minjiao had a calm face, as if she had known everything for a long time. After a long time, Emperor Tianji regained his sanity and said tremblingly. Because the 9 heavens empress has been on the top of the list. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Start, Invincible, met the Empress's apprentice. Author, Ben Pao de la Chang. Chapter 189. Hearing these words, Emperor Lin and others looked horrified and their hearts were horrified. No words could describe their emotions. Reaching the top of the list, even if these 4 words were placed on the immortal emperor list, they would not be so shocked, but the place where they appeared was on the eternal emperor list. Holy shit. Holy shit. All the geniuses burst out with foul language. You know, there are only 3 people who have reached the top of the eternal emperor list so far, and one of them is better than the other. And this Empress of the Nine Heavens is probably the first great emperor to have reached the top of the list. The gold content of the eternal emperor ranking is self-evident. Countless emperors have dreamed of climbing on it, even if they were at the end of a crane. Even the Qing emperor, the first generation double-eyed emperor, and the mortal emperor were only ranked in the top 50. You can imagine how difficult it is. And the Empress of the Nine Heavens has reached the top of the list, which means that she is one of the three most powerful people besides those creatures in the early Taishu era, ruling for eternity. As for who the remaining two are, we don't know. The top of the list, the top of the eternal emperor ranking, how humming powerful does this have to be? This is already the pinnacle of all realms. It is estimated that only those most primitive creatures of the beginning can compare. Now it seems that our future achievements are nothing. Haha, the mythical emperor, I estimate that the Empress of Nine Heavens can kill a bunch of people with just one sneeze. Zhang Changkan said with a wry smile, for a woman to surpass all eternity and reach the top of the list, this is simply too unnatural. No, it should be said that she is heaven. I didn't expect that there really is such a woman in the world. In front of the Nine Heavens Empress, all the empresses pale, even the Empress Nanyi and the Empress who stepped into the darkness. Jun Wudao felt a sense of powerlessness in his heart. He was confident that the younger generation was invincible, but compared to the Empress of the Nine Heavens, she was like an ant. Senior Tianji, what's next for the Empress of the Nine Heavens? Emperor Lin asked doubtfully, it is impossible for a female empress like this to be unknown, she must have experienced something. I don't know this. I only know that she fell, how she fell, and by whom. All of this has been sealed in history, and no one can uncover it. Emperor Tianji shook his head and said slowly. Well. Hearing these words, all the geniuses sighed one after another. They didn't know what to say. Even the Empress of the Nine Heavens, who had been at the top of the list, would fall. They really couldn't imagine how powerful the murderer behind it was. Stop talking about this, Princess Minjiao, have you really obtained the inheritance of the Nine Heavens Empress? Emperor Tianji's attitude is extremely respectful. You must know that he is an immortal emperor, and Xuanhuan Minjiao is just a saint ant. Senior Tianji, you are such a shameful little girl. Mingyu can swear on his life that he will never tell a lie. Xuanhuan Minjiao said with great solemnity. So, you also know these things, right? That's right, Senior. How did you know? Empress, tell me. To be precise, it was said by a ray of shadow. Damn it, Minjiao, you've seen the Empress of the Nine Heavens, tell me, what does she look like? Emperor Lin said impatiently. Beautiful, very beautiful. No words in the world can describe the face of the Empress of the Nine Heavens. But at the same time, she is very kind. She does not have the majesty of a king at the top of the list. Instead, she makes me feel like the big sister next door. She told me everything, and I didn't believe it at first, until she showed me a picture of my future and a fragment of hers. So that's it? Little friend Minjiao has peeked into the future before. No wonder I'm shocked. But can you tell me more about the image of the Empress of the Nine Heavens? Emperor Tianji asked slowly. Of course you can. In that video, the Empress of Jushan sealed hundreds of mythical emperors with one move, and those mythical emperors are from Jushan, because the Empress told me that people of Jushan are born with Jushan Liang on their arms. A word. Then, the Empress of the Nine Heavens used some unknown force to uproot the entire Nine Heavens and move it to a secret place. Xuanhuan Minjiao's words stopped abruptly here. Sure enough, just as the ancestors said, the Empress of Jushan destroyed Jushan. This is also why I said before that you may have to go to Jushan to fight against each other in the future. After all, we are the dove occupying the magpie's nest. And after countless epochs, their 9-day seal may have been loosened. Emperor Tianji said slowly. Holy crap, These 500 humming mythical emperors, can we really defeat these, in the immortal realm? I don't know, there is no hope at all. Even if Qing Emperor and the others are all resurrected, it probably won't be enough. What's more, who can guarantee that in these eras, there will be no breakthrough among the hundreds of mythical emperors? Zhang Chang'an frowned, feeling a sense of despair in his heart. If there were a dozen mythical emperors, the immortal realm could still be fought, but with hundreds of mythical emperors, this was no longer the same dimension. Hey, don't forget, there is that person in our fairyland. At this time, Emperor Lin said slowly. Sui Ai's master. Alas, that person is too moody. What's more, we still can't figure out that adult's strength. Hearing this, Shui also fell into silence. To be honest, he didn't want his master to wade into this muddy water. After all, the 9 heavens were too terrifying. There were hundreds of mythical emperors. What about those above the myth? By the way, Senior Tianji, are you sure about the time when Jushin will attack? Jun Wudao asked slowly. This is not certain. It may be tomorrow, or it may be several epochs later. It depends on when the seal of the 9 heavens empress is loosened. However, what I can be sure of is that if that day really comes, our fairyland doesn't have much hope. Emperor Tianji said feebly, this matter is too despairing for anyone in the immortal realm. And the immortal realm seems to be cursed. The outer realm is going to attack, the darkness is going to attack, the great catastrophe of the era, the 9 heavens, even the ancient clan, the eternal upper realm and other forces are eyeing the immortal realm. It can be said that the immortal realm it's a miracle that I'm still alive. This. Hearing these words, all the geniuses felt a sense of despair and powerlessness in their hearts. If it were countless epochs later, it would be okay, it would give them enough time to grow up and fight for the immortal realm, but if the time was too short, they would just cannon fodder. Okay, friends, you don't have to worry too much. Our fairyland can stand for countless epochs, so we must have a trump card. The sky is falling, and there are still tall people holding it up. Now, what you need is to improve your strength as soon as possible, as soon as possible. Emperor Tianji comforted all the geniuses. Yes, Senior Tianji. After saying that, the geniuses returned to their own forces. They decided to spend the next time in retreat to improve their strength. At this moment, Shui found that there was something slightly wrong with Xuanhuan Minjiao's expression. Sister Minjiao, what's wrong with you? You feel like you have something on your mind. Shui asked doubtfully. Ever since Xuanhuan Minjiao said this, she has been absent-minded. Minjiao, are you worried about Jushin? Lindy asked slowly on the side. No, because in the video of Empress Jushin, I can clearly feel that she is missing someone. The emotions in her eyes are very complicated, including hatred, love, and other emotions intertwined. And the last 3 words she said are still unforgettable to me. Xuanhuan Minjiao shook her head and said slowly. What word? Afterwards, Xuanhuan Minjiao looked at the two of them and said slowly. Sorry. Start, Invincible, met the Empress's apprentice. Author, Ben Pao de la Chang. Chapter 190. What, sorry? Ah. Shui and Linda looked surprised. Yes, those are the 3 words. I don't know whether she said it to herself or the person she missed. Forget it, Minjiao, we can't speculate on these things. After all, she is the Empress of the 9 heavens. Linda said slowly from the side. Yes, Sister Minjiao, don't think about it. The Empress of the 9 heavens has fallen for countless epochs. Even if she has any long-cherished wish, we can't realize it. 2. Then, Xuanhuan Minjiao took a deep look at Shui. In fact, after the 3 words I'm sorry, there were 2 more words, but she didn't say them, that was, white clothes. Sir, what is your relationship with the Nine Heavens Empress? Xuanhuan Minjiao murmured to himself in his heart. However, at this moment, a bright light pierced the sky of Kangtian immortal realm, and the sky slowly tore open a hole, and then countless divine lights slowly descended, and its position was none other than the Xuanhuan family. Hey, Minjiao, look, your Xuanhuan family. Lin De said with his eyes widened. Did something happen? After saying that, Xuanhuan Minjiao directly crushed the teleportation talisman, and the next moment, they returned to the Xuanhuan family. At this moment, countless disciples in the Xuanhuan family started talking after seeing these divine lights. What's going on? How do these divine lights give me a feeling that they don't belong to the fairyland, but they are still in the fairyland? Indeed, it's quite strange. At this moment, Emperor Xuanhuan and many other ancestors and elders appeared in the square within the Xuanhuan family one after another. Holy crap, it's the head of the family and the ancestor of the human emperor, why did they show up? Is something big going to happen? Xuanhuan Minjiao and others also came to Emperor Xuanhuan and asked. Father, what happened? Minjiao, you're back. How are you? What did you see when you peeked into the future? Emperor Xuanhuan asked excitedly. Fortunately, don't worry about this for now, those lights. Those things, you'll know in a minute. Emperor Xuanhuan said without hesitation. Immediately afterwards, the divine light dissipated, and each Qinkaiu creature appeared in front of everyone. Is this the fairyland? The spiritual energy is so rich. Qinkaiu Hong stared around and said slowly. This seems to be a certain family. Those members of the Xuanhuan family shouted excitedly after seeing the creatures in Qinkaiu. Hum, vixen. So beautiful, I really want to touch her furry ears and tail. Exotic. Hiss, isn't this the Qinkaiu clan from the outer realm? What the hell, Outland? How is it possible, how could they? Later, human Emperor Xuanhuan appeared in front of Qinkaiu Hong and other creatures. Mythical Emperor. This family actually has a mythical emperor, and he is still in peak condition. Hello Qinkaiu clan, I am the Xuanhuan Emperor, the ancestor of the Xuanhuan family in the Kangtian immortal realm. Renhuang Xuanhuan said with a smile. Hello, human emperor mythology, I am from the Qinkaiu tribe, Qinkaiu Hong. I am Qinkaiu army. I am Qinkaiu peak. Everyone, don't be nervous. Your Excellency has just told me everything. Welcome. Xuanhuan Renhuang said in a calm tone. It's really troublesome for human emperor mythology. It's not a big deal, they are all doing things for adults. Xuanhuan Renhuang waved his hand and said. Afterwards, he brought the three ancestors of Qinkaiu Hong to the ancestral land, while the other elders settled the rest of the Qinkaiu creatures. Anyway, the Xuanhuan family's place has expanded many times compared to before, and it is more than enough to accommodate these Qinkaiu creatures. Damn it, they are really from the Qinkaiu clan. This is unbelievable. If the elder hadn't told us the inside story just now, I still wouldn't believe it. It's just that I still can't figure out how they became people from the fairyland. It must have been that adult who did it. Is there any need to think about it? Why do you care about all this? Hee, little fox, my brother is here to make friends with you. Damn it, I want to go too. At this moment, in the ancestral land, the human emperor mythology has really caused you trouble. Qinkaiu said with red eyes. In fact, they were ready to live under someone else's roof, but they didn't expect that Renhuang Xuanhuan had no prejudice against them. What words? We are all working for adults, so naturally we are in the same camp. What's more, you are now creatures of the fairyland. Human Emperor Xuanhuan said slowly. By the way, Chief Qinkaiu Hong, I would like to ask, are they really planning to attack the immortal realm in the outer realm? Emperor Xuanhuan asked slowly. That's right, when they came to us, they said that they were 100% sure that they could break through the eternal barrier, and this certainty is likely to be the ancient creatures. King Xuanhuan said slowly. Haha, it is indeed them, they are so evil. Human Emperor Xuanhuan said coldly. By the way, I don't know how you met the adults. After hearing this, King Xuanhuan told everyone about the matter. I didn't expect that there would be such a fate. Nine-tailed sky fox, what a pity, what a pity. Actually, it's not a pity, because we have followed the instructions given by our ancestors and found the master. King Xuanhuan shook his head and said slowly. At this moment, a breath of the emperor slowly came, and a peerless figure slowly appeared in front of everyone. It was Nan Yi. Who is this? King Xuanhuan asked doubtfully. This is your master's apprentice, Nan Yi. After hearing this, King Xuanhuan and the others immediately knelt down and said. Let's meet Empress Nan Yi. Senior, you absolutely must not do this. If my master finds out, he will definitely scold me. Nan Yi quickly helped the three of them up. These three were all immortal emperors. It was really unbearable for them to kneel down and worship her. Afterwards, everyone chatted for a few more words.